There were stars and lots of snow at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival in beautiful Park City, Utah. And compelling storytelling was definitely evident this year. Film writers and directors don't necessarily set out to make a statement or send a message through their films, but as filmgoers, we have the opportunity to take away an underlining meaning that can affect us for a very long time. This year, I set out to find projects that speak to our hearts and minds. It's another snowy Sundance here in Park City. My name is Matt Duhamel with Metamora Films, covering again thought-provoking and transformative filmmaking. Let's go to the red carpet. It's The Big Sick, starring Holly Hunter and Ray Romano. A film about a modern culture clash between a Pakistani boyfriend and his American girlfriend, and trying to overcome the expectations of his family and their 1,400-year-old traditions.
I don't want to give too much away about the movie. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if they're going to see it. Yeah. But, you know, his parents want him to have an arranged marriage, so for that reason they don't want him to marry her. When I met my wife, her parents didn't want to marry me because I didn't have a job. So, you know what I mean?
You've got a good job.
But it's how love transcends all that.
There's a lot of discussion of religion and the immigrant experience in the United States. So I think it's a unique love story that's very sweet and really, really funny.
History tells us Cesar Chavez transformed the U.S. labor movement by leading the first farm workers' union. But missing from this narrative is his equally influential co-founder, Dolores Huerta, who fought tirelessly alongside Chavez for racial and labor justice.
Well, what we're hoping that this film will inspire people to say, you know what, we've been here before. We were back there in the 60s and 70s. We have a lot of the same issues that were going on there. And I think that that's a message that we want to get out there to people to say, look, don't give up. We've got to recommit. We've got to reactivate more than ever before.
Benjamin and Peter Bratt stress the importance of the film and the lack of power people are feeling in today's society.
Many people today, especially in light of the results of the election, feel disempowered. A lot of people feel like, what the hell? So I think one of the takeaways is that nobody has the excuse to tap out.
The film, which has an amazing crew, including executive producer Carlos Santana, sets the record straight on one of the most effective and undervalued civil and labor rights leaders in modern U.S. history. How about an epic post-World War II pioneer story that pits two families against a barbaric social hierarchy and an unrelenting landscape as they fight the battle at home and abroad? Directed by Dee Reese, Mudbound is destined to become a classic. Before I attended the premiere of Mudbound, I spoke with a woman who is excited that history is being told and how it can help us work together.
I see a group of people that are actively trying to rewrite history. And I think that it is important to tell those stories for generations to come, that they know our history, the good and the bad of it, the bloody history of America.
Starring British actor Carey Mulligan, Jason Clarke, and Mary J. Blige, Mudbound boasts a stellar cast, including an excited and jubilant Rob Morgan, who plays Hap Jackson in the film.
I think people will take away from the film the importance of working together, how dependent we are on each other.
Based after Hillary Jordan's remarkable debut novel, this film is a must-see. Lightening the mood a bit, but still keeping with the theme of meaningful films, Woody Harrelson, Laura Dern, and Judy Greer star in the film Wilson. It's a comedy, but cast member Judy Greer agrees that there is meaning behind the laughter.
I think you can take away from this that honesty is the best policy, and even a person who seems like the most angriest, misanthropic person still requires a connection to another person. And that at the end of the day, I think, unless you're a total monster, you are looking for love and connection with humanity.
I think from this film, everyone can pull away from the fact that, things go wrong in life. But as long as you just try to make it through day by day and you just live in the moment and you accept what's going on now, that everything will be okay eventually.
The action of Sundance wasn't only on the red carpet. I walked Main Street heading for the Filmmaker's Lounge, where each year unique and thought-provoking panels are held on a variety of subjects. And across the street at the YouTube House, the Sundance Film Festival hosted a presentation called YouTube and Using Your Platform for Change, with the announcement this year that the Sundance Institute has awarded over $1 million to documentary projects and artists at the forefront of global nonfiction storytelling. The documentary filmmaking platform will continue to expand and reach more people during Sundance. Before the next film premiere, I met up with a gentleman that knows the power of film, and especially documentary film work.
Are kind of an escape, you know. There's a lot going on right now, and sometimes it's just that mental escape from the things we're going on that we're all subject to.
What a great way to introduce a very bold, risk-taking hybrid of nonfiction and fiction filmmaking. Casting JonBenet premiered at Sundance this year, and director Kitty Green, along with producers and cast, were in attendance during the sold-out premiere at the Temple Theater in Park City. Would you say that's true? Are you taking risks, or you're pushing the envelope?
Yeah.
Yes. I can say that without any ego, so I could back her up on that. This movie was a fall into space, and you didn't know where Kitty was going to land.
What do you think people are going to take away from this film? Because this is like the power of documentary, the power of a narrative mixed in there as well.
We left it open. We really want people to interpret it individually. We really want people to come away with their own kind of conclusions and their own sort of ideas about even the media obsession with the case and how it's become sort of in the cultural zeitgeist.
Producer Scott McCauley, known for his previous work such as Raising Victor Vargas and Saving Face, expands on what viewers may take away from the film.
You're watching a whole group of people come to terms with the impact of this case on them, and then I think our audience will go home and think about the case in a new way and think about aspects of their own lives.
Do you know who killed JonBenet Ramsey?
86-year-old Marjorie spends her final ailing days with a computerized version of her deceased husband. Marjorie Prime, a hit film from director Michael Amoretta, will make you think about the past, the future, and everything in between. Tim Robbins talked to me about what the film is about.
Memory, and about love and family, and about the subjectivity of memory, and what it is to hold on to someone after they're gone.
I play a man named Walter who's married to a man named Marjorie, and then he dies, and then he's sort of reincarnated as the 40-year-old version of himself in a actively learning hologram in hopes to ease the suffering of his widow, who's played by Lois Smith.
And my character is near the end of her life, and the memory is not so full, not so accurate.
Marjorie Prime shines a light on an often obscured corner in the world of artificial intelligence and its interactions with death. Did you see this hat at Sundance this year? I Love Dick, a TV series starring Kevin Bacon, premiered at Sundance with an enthusiastic crowd. At first, it may sound like a project that has no relation to transformation or thought-provoking material. But on the red carpet, I spoke with Kevin Bacon to find out if there's meaning behind the risque show title.
I do think that it's going to be one of those shows that people will certainly talk about, and sometimes will feel probably there's going to be things that will make people uncomfortable, but I think if we push through it, it'll be very entertaining.
I spoke with actor and comedian Kathryn Hahn about her character and what viewers may take away from her performance in the film.
As Jill has eloquently described it, if you take away the dick and the title and put it in patriarchy, it's the same thing. It's kind of like a sleeper cell. This woman's demanding to be seen, demanding to be heard, owning her desire and owning her vulnerability.
In terms of my character, I go through a lot of transformation about what's going on between me and my wife, and kind of go on a journey.
Ted Danson and his wife Mary Steenburgen attended the film premiere of The Discovery, starring Robert Redford, Jason Segel, and Ron Canada. What could be more thought-provoking than knowing there was proof of an afterlife? The answer to this question is explored in the new film The Discovery, where world-renowned physicist Dr. Thomas Harber, played by Robert Redford, is able to scientifically prove the existence of an afterlife.
I think one of the central themes of the movie is this idea of pulling a geographic, of finding out that there is somewhere else to go, and the temptation of saying, great, I'm going to leave what I'm doing behind and start fresh there. And the truth is, you always take yourself with you.
I think the message for this film is that we shouldn't make assumptions about the unknowable.
The Discovery, which plays to both the head and the heart, is directed by Charlie McDowell. He intentionally left the film open to interpretation and the emotions of the individual watching the film.
The hope is that the audience watches the film and that they, depending on who you are, your belief system, the makeup of who you are as a person, you may believe it means this, and someone else can mean something totally different.
It could be totally different depending on where they come from in the background.
And that's sort of what I'm excited to make, movies like that.
Told in flashbacks and flash forwards, the new film from director Sean Christensen is about a character named Sidney Hall, who harbors a precocious talent for writing. Starring Logan Lerhman, Elle Fanning, and Michelle Monaghan, the film Sidney Hall premiered at Sundance this year. Elle Fanning was a huge fan of the script, written by Sean Christensen and Jason Dolan.
Honestly, this was the best script I'd ever read. It really was. It's written so differently, and there's so many surprises, and it's kind of about this man, how he deals with success. He kind of gets success at a young age.
Almost every young actor met with director Christensen for the part after the script hit the market, but Lerhman was particularly believable at playing all three stages of Hall's life. He plays an 18, a 24, and a 30-year-old in various parts of the film.
He's this, young dude from a small town, pretty normal kid. He's an introvert. He's more of an observer rather than someone who's, more outgoing or involved in things.
As a filmmaker myself, I'm always up for an emotional journey. The latest documentary film from Irish filmmaker Frankie Fenton is an emotional journey of self-realization.
I start to write full-time again with my eyes using my new computer. The film I desire to make is My Name is Emily.
It's Not Yet Dark is about director Simon Fitzmaurice, who was tragically diagnosed with motor neuron disease, or ALS. Fitzmaurice went on and completed the film My Name is Emily in 2015, directing it only with the use of his eyes. I met up with Hector Minto, who works in the field of assistive technology and actually developed the hugely successful eye gaze learning curve.
Originally, it was conceived as something that would be used to understand where the consumer was looking. It was used a lot in research, but now they worked out that they could turn your eyes into the mouse.
The film is captured with intimate home movies, photographs, and an affectionate voiceover by actor Colin Farrell. Film director Frankie Fenton talked to me about the future of technology.
It's a different thing today. People in the past who had motor neuron disease in the 1980s wouldn't have had the opportunities that Simon has. I think it's looking at disability in a different way, and in the future that you don't look at a wheelchair, that you look at the mind.
Moving on, close up on Stella, please.
We'll talk to actors.
The Sundance Film Festival of 2017, complete with a computer hack and record snowfall, was a journey into the world of filmmakers and actors, inspiring millions every day. I'm very proud to know the artists creating the powerful films that educate, inspire, and entertain the people that watch them. Well, the power of filmmaking is evident here at a beautiful 2017 Sundance Film Festival. I'll see you next year at the 2018 Sundance Film Festival in beautiful Park City.